Are you ready for what is coming this week? Because the next 72 hours will bring some of the most dramatic weather shifts we have seen in months across the United Kingdom. 25 millimetres of rain in just 6 hours. Temperatures plunging from 12 degrees to below freezing. Snow accumulations reaching 20 centimetres over higher ground. And here is what nobody is talking about yet. This is only the beginning of a 2-week unsettled pattern that will affect every corner of Britain. Right now, at this very moment, heavy rain is pushing northward from the south. Eastern England is getting hammered. Northern England is seeing the worst of it. Parts of Wales are experiencing intense downpours. And if you are in eastern Scotland, you need to pay very close attention to what I'm about to tell you. But first, let me give you something critical. By the 30-second mark of this forecast, you will know exactly when the coldest air arrives in your area. You will know which day brings the harshest frost, and you will discover why Sunday morning could deliver the biggest snowfall surprise of the entire winter season. Let me show you what is happening right now on the radar. The heaviest precipitation is concentrated across eastern England, pushing relentlessly toward the far north of England and into Wales. Over higher ground, we are already seeing wintry conditions. Nothing too unusual for mid-February, you might think. But wait until you hear what is coming. Here is the first shocking number. Eastern Scotland has a rain warning active until midnight tonight. They are looking at 25 millimetres of rainfall. Then Wednesday brings another warning for the same region, with totals reaching 25 millimetres again, and some areas could see 40 millimetres. That is nearly 2 inches of rain falling on already saturated ground. Why does this matter? Because the ground across Scotland cannot absorb any more water. Every additional millimetre of rain is running straight off into rivers and streams. Flooding is not just possible, it is likely in vulnerable areas. Now, temperatures at 8 post-meridian are sitting at a relatively mild 10 to 12 degrees in southern areas. But look at Scotland, already hovering near freezing. This north-south temperature split is about to become the dominant story of your week. Wednesday continues the miserable pattern. Rain bands keep pushing through. Southern areas might see brief dry spells, but do not count on staying dry for long. More rain moves in from the south by Wednesday evening, with heavier bursts hitting the south coast. Nobody wants that there, not with the ground already waterlogged. Thursday is when everything changes, and I mean everything. The rain slips away to the south. Cold air charges in from the north. Precipitation that was falling as rain suddenly turns to snow as the colder air digs in deeper. Higher ground could see significant snow accumulations as this transition occurs. Then wintry showers pile in for Friday as conditions turn genuinely cold and much drier by evening. Temperatures? They are going to plummet toward freezing. We are talking about a really harsh frost to start Saturday morning. If you have tender plants, if you have pipes that might be vulnerable, Friday night is when you need to take action. Already by Saturday, you can see the next change arriving. A westerly wind starts to return. Precipitation moves in off the Atlantic. But here is the twist. The leading edge brings heavy snow, especially for northern areas and particularly over higher ground. This could be a mostly snowfall event before it clears away and we all slowly transition back into milder air. So let me spell this out clearly. Friday is cold, Saturday is cold, then Sunday shifts everything back to milder conditions. A classic 2 or 3 day northerly blast on the back edge of the low pressure system. Not extreme, not record breaking, but definitely a genuine cold snap bringing winteriness and some quite harsh temperatures. This marks the end of that big blocking pattern to our north. Instead, we are heading into a much more mobile weather pattern with alternating cold and mild sectors. Northern areas could see more frequent cold weather, and unfortunately, this mobile pattern keeps the rain around. Let me give you the temperature breakdown by city, because this is where it gets really interesting. Wednesday temperatures. London hits 12 degrees Celsius. Birmingham sees 11 degrees. Manchester reaches 10 degrees. But Edinburgh, just 5 degrees. Glasgow, 4 degrees. The north-south split is dramatic and unmistakable. Thursday, temperatures start dropping everywhere. Central areas fall to 5 or 6 degrees. The south coast hangs on at 10 degrees. But Scotland and northern England, much, much colder. Newcastle sees just 4 degrees. Edinburgh drops to 3 degrees. Friday brings the frost. Northern areas wake up to temperatures below freezing. Southern areas hover just above 0. By afternoon, nobody gets much above 3 or 4 degrees. This is a very cold day. Overnight, Friday into Saturday, temperatures rapidly fall well below freezing everywhere. Saturday itself remains cold all day. 3 to 5 degrees at best across the entire country. London maxes out at 4 degrees, Manchester 3 degrees, Edinburgh just 2 degrees, Birmingham 4 degrees, Cardiff 5 degrees, Newcastle 2 degrees. Sunday morning brings another harsh frost early on. But very quickly, as we head into mid-morning, that heavy rain and snow arrives, pushing milder air in from the west. Where we hang on to the coldest air the longest, that is where we could see significant accumulating snow. The latest models show over higher ground 10 to 20 centimetres of snow. That is 4 to 8 inches in old money. Temporarily, some low-lying areas across northern England and Scotland could see 5 to 10 centimetres. That is 2 to 4 inches. A decent dumping of snow Sunday morning. Most of the snow in low-lying areas will probably melt during Sunday afternoon, but higher ground keeps it. Now, here is something critical that most forecasts are not telling you. This cold snap only lasts 2 or 3 days. We have been discussing this possibility earlier in the week. It is definitely coming, but it is brief, very brief. After that cold spell ends, we head into a very mixed pattern for the rest of February. The Atlantic unlocks. That big blocking high to our north that has dominated our weather for weeks is dissipating. This means oscillating cold and mild sectors. Still lots of heavy rain. Temperatures will swing up and down constantly. There should hopefully be a few drier patches scattered through, but honestly, it still looks very unsettled for the next couple of weeks. No proper break in sight. Let me give you specific timing for your area because this is what you really need to know. If you are in London or the southeast, heaviest rain continues through Wednesday afternoon. Drier conditions develop Thursday evening. Cold air arrives Friday morning with temperatures dropping to 2 degrees. Saturday stays cold at 4 degrees. Snow possible Sunday morning, transitioning to rain by midday. Birmingham and the Midlands, rain persists through Wednesday night. Thursday sees clearing skies. Friday morning frost with temperatures at 1 degree. Saturday holds at 3 degrees. Sunday morning brings rain, possibly snow initially, over higher ground near the Peak District. Manchester and the northwest, rain continues through Thursday morning. Cold air arrives Thursday afternoon. Friday morning sees hard frost at -1 degree. Saturday remains cold at 3 degrees. Sunday morning could bring significant snow before changing to rain. Liverpool, similar pattern. Rain through Wednesday night. Thursday afternoon turns colder. Friday morning frost at 0 degrees. Saturday 3 degrees. Sunday morning snow likely before milder air arrives. Newcastle in the northeast. Persistent rain through Wednesday and into Thursday morning. Sharp temperature drop Thursday afternoon. Friday morning harsh frost at -2 degrees. Saturday, just 2 degrees. Sunday morning, heavy snow likely, especially over higher ground in the Pennines. Edinburgh and eastern Scotland. This is where the weather warnings are focused. Heavy rain continues through Wednesday with 40 to 60 millimetres over higher ground. Thursday morning rain finally clears. Temperatures drop sharply Thursday afternoon. Friday morning, brutal frost at -3 degrees. Saturday stays at 2 degrees. Sunday morning brings the heaviest snow of anywhere in Britain, 10 to 20 centimetres possible over higher elevations. Glasgow and western Scotland, rain warnings extend through Wednesday. 30 to 40 millimetres of rain through the day and into evening. Thursday sees improvement. Friday morning frost at -2 degrees. Saturday holds at 2 degrees. Sunday morning, significant snow, likely before turning to rain. Cardiff and South Wales, rain bands continue Wednesday. Thursday brings improvement. Friday morning frost at 1 degree. Saturday 4 degrees. Sunday morning possible snow over the Brecon Beacons, rain elsewhere. Belfast and Northern Ireland, rain coming and going through Wednesday and Thursday. Friday morning frost at 0 degrees. Saturday 3 degrees. Sunday morning rain, snow possible over higher ground in County Down and County Antrim. Aberdeen and the far north, you are in the bullseye for the heaviest snow Sunday morning. Rain clears Thursday. Friday frost at -3 degrees. Saturday just 1 degree. Sunday morning could see 15 to 20 centimetres of snow over elevated areas. Now, what about the longer range? What happens after this cold snap? The jet stream repositions to the south of the UK. This sets up a very mobile pattern for the second half of February. Atlantic systems will move through more quickly than the slow-moving lows we have endured recently. That is good news in one sense. Rain will not stall for days at a time. But it is not exactly great news because we are still looking at an unsettled pattern overall. Temperature-wise, expect constant fluctuations. Mild sectors push through from the southwest. Cold sectors drop in from the north. Northern areas, especially over higher ground, will more often than not find themselves in the colder air. This means more frequent wintry conditions when precipitation arrives. Southern areas will see those big milder sectors moving through, with temperatures potentially reaching the low teens Celsius. Some model runs even suggest mid-teens are possible if high pressure builds from the south toward the end of February. That would bring a little taste of spring. However, most model runs do not show this scenario, so I would not count on it just yet. For Glasgow, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Manchester, and other northern cities, the second half of February looks generally cool and unsettled, temperatures hovering around average or below average. More chances for wintry showers. Not a classic big cold spell with persistent snow, but enough cold air around to keep things feeling wintry, especially over moderate elevations. Will it snow the whole time in low-lying areas? Probably not. But if you are over some moderate elevation or even in some low-lying areas during the colder bursts, it could be quite wintry indeed. The big pattern shift happens because that blocking high to our north finally breaks down. Instead of slow-moving lows from the south stalling over us for days, we get a more typical unsettled pattern. Active jet stream, faster moving systems, oscillating temperatures, generally unsettled feel. Is this changing for the better? That depends on your perspective. If you are sick of endless rain, well, the rain will move through faster. But there will still be plenty of it. If you enjoy cold and snow, northern areas have better chances in this pattern. If you prefer mild and dry, you will be disappointed because dry, settled weather looks unlikely. There are hints, just hints mind you, that the final third of February could see something drier develop. Some model runs show a European high building, potentially bringing drier and slightly milder conditions, especially to southern areas. But we are talking about the end of February, which is still well into the extended forecast range. Too early to bank on that. What we can say with confidence is this. The wetter spell we have endured for the past few weeks will eventually break down. These patterns always do, but it does not look like breaking down in the short to medium term. We are probably looking at another 10 to 14 days of unsettled weather before any meaningful improvement. So what should you do to prepare? For the immediate 72 hours, if you are in Scotland, be prepared for flooding risks. Move valuable items away from potential flood zones. Check drains and gutters. For Friday night into Saturday, everyone should prepare for frost. Protect plants, lag pipes, make sure you have de-icer for your car windscreen. For Sunday morning, if you are in northern England or Scotland, be prepared for potential travel disruption from snow. Higher routes could become difficult. Have a backup plan if you need to travel Sunday morning. Beyond that, just accept we are in for an unsettled pattern. Keep the umbrella handy. Layer your clothing because temperatures will swing around. Check the forecast regularly because conditions will change frequently. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below with where you are located in the UK, and I will give you a specific forecast for your exact area. Are you in the Highlands, the Lake District, the Cotswolds? Wherever you are, comment your location and let me know what you are most concerned about, the rain, the cold, or the potential snow. The most dramatic moment comes Sunday morning between 6 ante-meridiem and noon. That is when the snow arrives across northern areas. That is when we could see those 10 to 20 centimetre accumulations over higher ground. That is the moment when this entire weather pattern reaches its crescendo before shifting back to milder Atlantic air. Mark it in your calendar. Sunday morning. That is when the biggest weather event of this entire forecast period occurs. And here is something else to watch for. Right at the end of February, around the 24th to the 28th, some models are hinting at another potential cold outbreak. High pressure developing near Greenland, northeasterly winds. A more sustained cold spell than this brief Friday to Sunday event. Is it guaranteed? Absolutely not. We are talking about forecasts 15 to 18 days out, but it is an interesting pattern to keep an eye on. If it develops, it could bring a longer-lasting cold and unsettled wintry spell to end February. That is why you need to stay updated. That is why you need to keep coming back for the latest forecasts, because this mobile pattern means things can and will change quickly. The next 72 hours bring rain, then cold, then snow. The following 2 weeks bring constantly changing conditions, and the end of February might, just might, bring another significant cold spell. One thing is certain. February is not going gentle into March. This is unsettled, dynamic, changeable weather. This is British weather at its most unpredictable. Stay safe out there. Prepare for frost Friday night, watch for snow Sunday morning, and keep checking back for updates as this pattern evolves. Your next update will reveal whether that late February cold spell materializes